You write about that, and I want to turn it back to you because one of the fascinating parts of your book is the relationship with Vandenberg. Robert Vandenberg, the Republican senator who had been an isolationist and then worked with Truman to get the Greek-Turkish aid passed and to start the policy of containment. How did they work together? I mean, the good thing about Truman is, like Joe Biden, he's a man of the Senate. And the Wiseman and Truman worked well with Vandenberg.
Maybe it's because I got to Congress when I was a young man, Walter. But I've been very skeptical of people who've never served in Congress or don't understand Washington, D.C., who think suddenly they're going to be president of the United States and change the world. We've had 3 presidents in the 21st century that either did not serve in the Senate, or with Barack Obama, a guy who was there the second he got there, Harry Reid said, "You don't like it here. Why don't you just run for president?" Harry Truman, like Joe Biden, was a creature of the Senate, and that was a good thing because it made Truman understand that more was required of a president than putting out snide press releases or signing executive orders, that he had no alternative, along with Joe Biden now, but to work with Republicans who had spent their entire political lives working against his political interests. And that's how Washington works. But he labored long and hard to build that working relationship with Vandenberg, and not just Vandenberg, but also Chairman Eaton, who ran the Foreign Policy Committee in the House. And they had so much at stake because they were trying to move past 150 years of American isolationism in peacetime. American isolationism in peacetime. George Washington's farewell address, he warned of foreign entanglements. He warned America against getting involved in foreign affairs. And that speech was so revered in the Senate, and the Senate was sort of ground zero for American isolationism, that I explain in the book how the Senate would read from Washington's farewell address every year. And of course, it was the United States Senate that killed the League of Nations when Wilson wanted to do that. And so he understood the importance of getting smart people, the best and brightest around him. But Claire McCaskill, he also understood that when freedom was at stake, that he and the House and the Senate were going to have to do something we don't see. They're going to have to work together and work hard. In the House, they had no less than 17 hearings on the Truman Doctrine, had that many in the Senate. They had scores of witnesses. They were flooded, the White House. The Truman White House was flooded with hundreds and hundreds of members' written questions. And instead of having snide, quick responses or refusals like this White House and others in the past have refused to respond, they actually responded in the greatest of detail. And I'll tell you what, the impact on those bipartisan alliances and on Madisonian democracy, it was felt, not only across America, but across the world. Because guess what? Getting smart people around you and working your tail off, at the end of the day, adds up to good things happening for you and your administration. And Harry Truman, as you know better than me or anybody else, Harry Truman, it was a living example of that.
He was. And I think the triumph, first of all, let me just say, anybody who is wanting to get a gut check about where we are in America right now versus where we were in the early 50s needs to read this book. Especially United States senators need to read this book. I've read everything that's ever been written about Harry Truman. I was so honored to sit at a desk where his name was signed on the inside and hold his Senate seat. And the triumph of the Truman presidency was really a 67-23 vote on the Truman Doctrine in the Senate. 67-23. Keep in mind that 67 was almost exactly evenly divided between Republicans and Democrats. Keep in mind that in the leading up days to this vote, Taft gave a speech on the Senate floor and talked about how he wanted to support the president on the world stage, that it would do permanent damage to United States standing in the world if the Senate were to undermine Truman's important foreign policy as it related to aid to Greece and Turkey. And look today, Greece has drifted under Trump. I mean, they're supposed to be a member of NATO. And they are showing tendencies that are frightening.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.